So this here is what the June Visa Bulletin says for Chart A for EB-5. And you can see that it's current for everybody except for China mainland born and India born unreserved. And what it says for those two countries is that you are unable to move forward to the next part of the green card process in EB-5 unless your approved I-526, the EB-5 petition, was filed before either January 22nd, 2014 for China or May 1st, 2019 for India. And those dates have gone backwards in time. And in immigration law, that's called retrogression. And so, Charlie, maybe you can kind of explain what exactly has happened. I mean, the arrows kind of show the backwards movement, but maybe you can kind of give us a breakdown of the why behind this movement, as opposed to just saying what happened.
Right. In an ideal world, the State Department should have placed a note in the Visa Bulletin similar to the note we just saw, the January note. They should have put a note in at least 1 to 2 months in advance saying that increased demand is going to require the imposition or retrogression of the China and India dates. They did not do that, which to me means they were caught basically totally off guard in terms of the way their calculations were. And just to give a kind of an easy example, if say the unreserved limit were 11,000, the State Department may have assumed that the rest of the world was going to use about 4,000 numbers. That means that there would have been 7,000 numbers remaining available for use by China and India. Evidently, what happened is when they got ready to announce the April Visa Bulletin, they realized that no, the rest of the world was going to use far more than 4,000 numbers, and therefore they had to retrogress both the China and India dates to stop any future number use by those two countries in excess of their annual limits so that they could have plenty of numbers to process for rest of world. In a way, the terms of the retrogressions, the fact that they did retrogress means that they should be able to complete most of the pending demand in rest of world unreserved and pretty much eliminate that pending demand as we go into the next fiscal year, which is a good thing. And again, these retrogress dates, they are a temporary in nature. I think for October, these dates, they should make an attempt to recover to the latest established dates. I do not believe they will go back to July of 2016 for China, but I think that they should head that direction, and they may be able to get back to January for India.
And so what we saw thank you, and I follow that. And I'm going to try to break it down a little bit for people. So what we saw happen over the past 4 months in China and India is that the final action date went backwards in time, right? So for China, it went from 2016 July back 2.5 years to January of 2014. For India, it went back almost, what, 2.5 years as well, from
Yep.
January 2022, or is that 3.5 years? 3.5 years.
January 2022, yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 years. To wait, is my math
Two and a
wrong?
half.
I'm
Two
an
and a half
attorney,
years.
not a mathematician. I
Two and
apologize.
a
I
half
leave that to
years.
Charlie. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 2.5 years. Um, and because of that, there were a lot of people who are no longer able to move forward in that green card process. That was a big shock because, as Charlie mentioned, there was no note in the Visa Bulletin before March, and there were no um, Chart B dates to sort of indicate there would be this retrogression. And I think because of that, there is a good a good amount of numbers right now that can be given to individuals from the rest of the world. And if the consulates process those well in the next few months, that can clear out a lot of that demand, meaning there will be a lot more visa numbers available for China and India in the future, which is why we're going to be seeing a lot of movement on these final action dates. I think in the next 12 to 18 months, there's going to be some ping-ponging back and forth that we're going to have to keep our eyes out on. And, the reason why is because of these um, overall, these per country limits and that increased amount of EB-5 demand from the rest of the world. Do I have that right, Charlie?
Yes.
Did I miss anything there?
No, and again, people should not be concerned with this retrogression and be concerned that, say, for China, that it's going to slowly progress, advance from January. I think it will be a rapid advance. I would not be surprised if it gets back to at least late 2015 for October, and for India, at least late 2021, if not a full recovery. So again, people should not, this is a temporary retrogression, and it was strictly to limit such number use for the remainder of the current fiscal year, but it has nothing to do with number use in the coming year.
And I guess I mean a couple of things. One, this was really disheartening for a lot of investors, right? Who
Yeah.
had consular interviews canceled that had been previously scheduled, or maybe they couldn't get their adjustment of status approved, and it was, obviously not a good thing to happen to them and their families. But it is a short-term issue. I know that's hard to hear after you've been waiting for so long, because in October there is a new fiscal year and a whole new allocation of visa numbers. And so, they have pushed it backwards to limit who can get them this year, but there's going to be a whole host of new people who can get them next year. And so that's why we're going to be seeing some ping-ponging, I think.